drama, passion, suspense, tropospheric undulations. Every night on Weather Center PM.
In the next half hour, Weather Center PM, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center PM continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
It's not a good night to be out in New York City where, like much of the Northeast, you're getting wind and cold rain. Good evening. I'm Terry Smith, and welcome to this edition of Weather Center, sponsored by GM Pontiac.
And I'm Jeff Morrow. We'll have more on that in just a moment. But first, the Mid-Atlantic, where you've had a rather nervous afternoon filled with severe weather. It is a little bit calmer tonight, but we still have at least one big thunderstorm prowling that region. Let's go ahead and show you, first of all, what it looked like earlier today in Point Harbor, North Carolina. This just on the mainland side of the Outer Banks. And yeah, it was a rainy day, a little bit wet out there. And there were some local thunderstorms with a lot of very heavy downpours. In fact, there was a possibility of a tornado in Chesapeake a little bit earlier. And I do want to report now that in Camden and Pasquotank counties up here in northeast North Carolina, because of this storm, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And I would not be surprised at all that we get a warning out of Currituck County here very, very shortly, because this cell was headed directly in that area. You know where that video was shot that I just showed you? Right there. That's Point Harbor. So just up the road, up toward Coinjock perhaps, that is where the big storm will be crossing over Currituck Sound and headed on out toward Duck and Corolla here. As a matter of fact, 2 miles south-southwest of Elizabeth City, almost 1 inch in diameter hail, nickel size actually, covered the ground. That would be right in through here with this big storm as it just passed on by. So one more severe thunderstorm, it looks like, at least moving out over the Outer Banks just south of the Tidewater. All right, let's go to a satellite picture, put it on into motion. Here is our big spin in the atmosphere, folks, and this is kind of stuck in the mud here. It's what we call a cutoff, and it gets cut off from the main jet stream flow, so it's very slow to move. And there's a surface reflection of that on our current weather map here in Ohio, and a lot of rain, chilly rain, rotating around that. Now out ahead of it is where we still have unstable air ahead of this cold front. I just showed you the big thunderstorm there in northeast North Carolina. North of there, we had some pretty big thunderstorms near Richmond, D.C., and Baltimore earlier, but a lot of that action is now pulled off the coast. You can see how rain, though, a steady chilly rain, has covered much of southern New England and on into New York. We've got some heavy rain here, folks. If you're headed out tonight, you've got to take the umbrella with you. Just take it slow. Make sure those windshield wipers are working. If you're headed on the Long Island Expressway there, in or out of town, or maybe along Interstate 80 out into Jersey, it's going to be a wet one, folks. No two ways about it right through the evening hours. Same deal around Boston. Rain starting to pick up here. Temperature out at Worcester only 37 degrees, but we don't think it'll snow, but it's definitely a raw and chilly night tonight in New England. There's the moisture rotating around our big upper level low. Some rain around Cincinnati, some rain around the Detroit metropolitan area as well. It looks like that'll start to lighten up before too long here, but still kind of a drizzly evening. And temperatures 42 in Detroit, 43 in Boston, 44 in New York. No matter where you go here, it's going to be on the raw and chilly side. Terry?
Well, Jeff, in the southeast, people are still recovering from an overnight storm that produced high winds and tornadoes. The storm is responsible for 38 deaths in the region. In Georgia, the governor has declared 7 counties a state of emergency. President Clinton has declared parts of Alabama disaster areas. Well, rescue crews did have their work cut out for them today in Birmingham. Alabama's governor says the storm destroyed at least 150 homes and damaged an additional 300 homes. Trees were damaged, or actually I should say were snapped in half, and roofs sheared off by the high winds. Vice President Al Gore plans to tour the area tomorrow. Owners of this furniture store in Cobb County say the storm blew out the back wall. Chairs and tables and couches in the front of the store were heavily damaged by the winds and rain. Other businesses in the areas were unrecognizable, just a mass of debris and dangling metal. In Gwinnett County today, cleanup efforts involved the entire family. Children pitched in to help clear branches from the downed trees. The storm knocked out power to as many as 70,000 people earlier today. The power company says it could be 5 days before power is completely restored. Well, fortunately, the weather is much calmer across the southeast tonight, and Jeff has more on that.
Terry, indeed, the cold front has swept right off the coast, taking the severe weather with it, although you can see how it arcs back here into North Carolina, and that right ahead of that front, that's where the air is still unstable, warm, and humid. That's where we have the severe thunderstorm. And I just checked, and indeed, Currituck County is now under a severe thunderstorm warning as that sail goes out over the Currituck Sound and out to sea. But a very strong northwesterly flow bringing in some coolish air to Atlanta and some clouds. 55 in Birmingham, but at least it was dry for the cleanup efforts going on in both of those cities. 73 in Charleston, a pleasant day along the Battery, 73 in Jacksonville, and 80 in Miami. Beautiful day in Dallas as well. But temperatures were below average for much of the east. How about in the west? Let's check things out now with Terry.
All right, Jeff, it was a quiet day today in the west, and because it was quiet for much of the west, temperatures were a little bit more mild, particularly here across the southwest. We had sunshine. Nice day. The only place that's really kind of stormy is right here, and the rain's only just beginning. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. First, though, I just want to show you pleasant temperatures for a change. How about this? 76 Phoenix, nice day. Not too bad an evening right now around Los Angeles. A little cooler in the northwest, though, right now. Seattle, 52. That's where we find some clouds and some showers thanks to this area of low pressure sitting off the coast, and as it moves northeast.
Wow.